Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Mike Hardenbrook. Welcome. You know that classic kind of stomach-dropping morning after feeling? You wake up and, well, there's huge gaps, right? Parts of the night before they're completely blank. You really try to piece together the timeline, and nothing. The information just isn't there. It's like it vanished. But here's the really wild part. At that exact same time, specific moments start replaying. And usually, they're the awkward ones, aren't they? The cringeworthy things you said, the little slips, those tiny, regrettable details. They just replay in your brain with, crystal clarity. They stick like glue. This is the big paradox of alcohol and memory. It doesn't just make your memories fuzzy. It has this strange, almost opposing effect. It's simultaneously erasing whole sections of your night while making other moments way too sticky, kind of burning them into your mind. So in this analysis, we're going to go beyond just, throwing around terms like blackouts and Hangxiety. We're going to look at the actual physical science. What really happens in your brain when alcohol messes with your memory system in these two completely opposite ways. And look, understanding this mechanism, it's really vital. It helps protect your brain health, sure, but it also helps decode why these things happen. And maybe most importantly, it helps stop that cycle of intense self-blame. Because what you're feeling often isn't some failure of character. It's a measurable biological disruption happening inside your head. Our memory, it's like the architecture of our lives, right? It's how we connect, how we learn, how we make sense of things. When alcohol hijacks that system, well, we really need to know exactly what's going on under the hood. Okay, let's unpack this memory paradox. Let's start with the vanishing act, the blackout. Now, when we talk about forgetting something normally, we usually picture like misplacing a file you already saved. You know it's somewhere, but with alcohol-induced blackouts, that's not what's happening at all. Alcohol interferes directly, right there with the hippocampus. The hippocampus is, well, it's essentially your brain's memory hub. It's the part responsible for taking a new experience and converting it, encoding it into a permanent, accessible, long-term memory. The scientific term for this is long-term potentiation, or LT. That's the recording process. So to get how alcohol stops this, think of your brain chemistry like a car for a second. You've got two really crucial chemicals involved here. There's glutamate, that's the accelerator. It tells your neurons to fire, to learn, to record stuff. And then you have GABA. That's the brake. It tells the neurons, okay, slow down, inhibit activity. And alcohol's like a serious double whammy here. It immediately boosts the activity of that inhibitory chemical, GABA. So bam, slam it on the brake. And at the same time, it targets and blocks the function of glutamate, specifically at a really crucial spot called the NMDA receptor. Now this NMDA receptor, think of it as the fundamental gateway. It's what the brain needs to kickstart that long-term recording process, that LTP we mentioned. So when the concentration of alcohol in your system hits a certain point, that receptor pathway just gets disabled, chemically shut down. The whole process of turning that experience into a stable memory, it gets aborted midstream. So here's the key takeaway. This is the really crucial translation of all that biology. You didn't simply forget what happened later on. Your brain never saved the file in the first place. The hard drive was chemically disabled at the time. Just let that sink in for a moment. You can be standing there, having a conversation, maybe arguing a point, maybe even making a promise someone's counting on. And biochemically, your brain is treating that experience like a non-event. It's just not saved. That's why you can see and totally find other people, functioning normally, talking, laughing. But later, zero recollection, absolutely none. Understanding this physical failure of the encoding system, it can actually lift a lot of the heavy guilt and anxiety that comes with blackouts. Okay, but this is where the paradox really hits, right? If the hippocampus is chemically disabled, if the brain's recording studio is effectively shut down, then why on earth are those few, usually cringy moments so vividly, horribly remembered the next day? Right. So now we move to the flip side of this coin, over-encoding. And this centers on a completely different brain structure, the amygdala. So if the hippocampus is the recording studio, the amygdala is your brain's emotional alarm center. It handles fear, stress, and tense emotions. What's really fascinating, it's kind of counterintuitive, is that while alcohol is hitting mute on the hippocampus, it's simultaneously sort of priming the amygdala, making it extra sensitive to emotional responses. This means that during those moments of high stress or intense emotion, The awkward comments, the arguments, the embarrassing exchanges. The amygdala ensures those specific moments get burned into memory, much, much stronger than usual. They're like these highly charged flashbulb memories. But they're driven by this weird cocktail of altered brain chemistry and heightened sensitivity while you're under the influence. And this process, it links directly into that awful Hangxiety flashback effect the next day. See, when the alcohol starts to wear off, your brain chemistry doesn't just gently return to normal. Oh no. It takes a sharp, really volatile dive. Remember GABA, that inhibitory chemical that break the alcohol enhanced? Well, when the alcohol disappears, GABA activity just plummets way below its normal baseline. And at the same time, the glutamate system, the accelerator, it rebounds with this uncontrolled kind of aggressive speed. This whole situation creates a state of intense neurological excitability, like your brain's electrical system is haywire. And this chemical crash is what leaves you feeling physically anxious, shaky, maybe sweaty, definitely hypersensitive, sometimes even panicked. Now combine that raw physical hypersensitivity with those overly emotional, over-encoded memories that the amygdala stamps so hard. Suddenly, that tiny awkward detail from last night, something your sober mind would probably just shrug off. Now it feels like a massive, unforgivable failure, a huge deal. The emotional center, the amygdala, is totally dominating your memory recall, making those negative moments feel disproportionately heavy and sticky. That's Hangxiety in a nutshell. Okay, so if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, repeatedly messing with these precise brain systems like this, it has some serious long-term implications. Things that go way beyond just one bad morning after. Repeated blackouts, for instance, they aren't just harmless temporary gaps. This consistent interference, this constant shutting down of the memory recording function, it actually creates a lot of stress for the brain. We know that chronic alcohol use leads to inflammation and something called oxidative stress. And this can cause neurotoxicity, which literally means the death of neurons, brain cells, especially in that delicate hippocampus region. Over time, this kind of exposure can actually cause memory-related brain regions to physically shrink, which can potentially speed up long-term cognitive decline and make you more susceptible to memory gaps even when you're sober. And just to illustrate how critical some of the nutrient depletion is, think about B vitamins. Alcohol really drains B vitamins, especially vitamin B1, which is also called thiamine. Now, in the most extreme cases, like with very heavy chronic drinking, this severe lack of B1 is directly linked to a devastating neurological disorder called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. It severely damages memory. While that specific syndrome is thankfully rare and linked to very heavy use, it clearly shows just how central vitamin B1 is for memory function. Even in less severe cases, alcohol rapidly drains it, contributing significantly to those memory struggles and that awful brain fog you might feel. So, okay, this naturally raises a practical question, right? What does all this science mean for actually supporting your brain health, for helping it recover? Well, since memory, mood, and just general brain stability rely so heavily on specific nutrients that alcohol rapidly depletes, recovery often starts with targeted replenishment, giving your brain back where lost. First, let's talk more about that vitamin B1. Specifically, there's a form called benfotiamine. Now, standard B1, thiamine, it's water-soluble, and honestly, it's not absorbed all that well. Benfotiamine, though, is fat-soluble. This means your body, and crucially your brain, can absorb and actually use it much more effectively. It helps replenish those stores that alcohol drained away. Remember, B1 is absolutely critical for converting the food you eat into usable energy for your brain cells. Supporting that energy conversion process is really essential for fighting back against memory struggles and that post-drinking brain fog. Second, we need to think about restoring some balance to those wildly disrupted neurotransmitters, the GABA and glutamate we talked about. This is where a supplement called N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, can be really interesting. NAC is valuable for a couple of key reasons here. One, it acts as a precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant, and it helps protect your brain cells from all that oxidative stress and inflammation caused by alcohol. But maybe even more importantly, especially thinking about Hangxiety, NAC helps modulate that rampant, excitatory glutamate system, the one that spikes and goes haywire the morning after. By helping to balance out that glutamate activity, NAC can potentially help calm down that neurological hyperexcitability that drives the worst parts of post-drinking anxiety and those intrusive thoughts. Okay, so let's try and synthesize all of this. Let's revisit the main idea. Alcohol doesn't just make you tipsy or relaxed. It literally, physically reshapes the way your brain encodes memories. That's the bottom line. It physically disables the recording function that's the hippocampus interference, causing some memories to just vanish. Poof, because the file was ever created. While at the exact same time, it makes other memories, usually the emotional ones, stick way too hard. That's the amygdala working overtime during the chemical roller coaster, knowing this biological mechanism. It really changes everything about how you might approach feelings of guilt or self-blame. Next time you wake up with regrets after drinking, the important thing to maybe hold on to is that you're dealing with the aftermath of a measurable biological event, a failure in the system. It wasn't necessarily a lapse of conscious will or you breaking a promise you consciously remember making. It was a physical system that got momentarily hijacked by chemistry. And the good news in all this, your brain has this truly remarkable capacity to recover. It's incredibly resilient, especially when you actively support it with the right tools and, maybe just as importantly, the right understanding. So use this understanding the idea that your brain simply never saved the file, rather than you forgetting something you should remember. Use that as the insight you need to move forward. Support your brain, understand the science behind what's happening, and give yourself and your brain the clarity you deserve. Thanks for joining me for this analysis. I'm Mike Hardenbrook. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.